I was gonna try my English accent.
That's what I was like, what?
Do you want that? It's up to you. Okay, guys, now, okay, we gotta think parity, we gotta think about the other person. All right, looks away, no talking. You probably want people to pay attention to your presentation. So I think it's only fair that you pay attention to theirs. So please, guys, I don't want to have to recommend people on this. Focus on the person who's presenting. Everything else away, and no talking.
Mothers tell their children to fear me. Mitchell Palmer declared me the most dangerous woman in America. Who am I? I am an anarchist, an atheist, an activist. I am EmmaGoldman. Born in Lithuania, I moved to America in my adolescent years. 19 stumbled upon me, and it was then I witnessed the Haymarket riot. It was there 8 anarchists were unjustly charged with the murder of rioters and policemen. No proper evidence was brought forth to charge these martyrs, but 4 were sentenced to death, and 1 committed suicide. This exact unethical act perpetuated by the government brought to light the inadequacy of an organized state and the danger it brings to the people. From that day on, I knew I wanted to dedicate my life to anarchism. I thank these heroes for their bravery, thus marking them as my favorite and perhaps the most decisive influence in my existence. I've spent half my life advocating workers' rights, stressing the workers to take direct action and not to be fooled by slight governmental aid. I hope that one day the world will be enlightened to the idea of anarchism and realize it is the only way to coexist. I've been imprisoned many times, once for conspiracy to riot, another for the collaboration and participation of President McKinley's assassination. This is but false. In no way did I partake in the assassination of McKinley, but the government did not care. Proof or not, a police officer beat me to the ground until blood dripped from my entire face. Not only that, the federal government attempted to burn out my eyeballs with a lamp during an interrogation. All of this because of my political beliefs. I advocate freedom, not violence. However, I allowed my greatest fear to come to life, the need to use violence to bring down the state. I know my companion Berkman and I organized the assassination of Henry Frick, a capitalist who deeply opposed labor unions. But as an anarchist, I am opposed to violence. But if the people want to do away with assassins, they must first do away with the conditions which produce murderers. Those conditions being the government and capitalistic organizations who belittle the working man and strengthen the one already in power. My purpose was not to create violence and hysteria, but to educate society of the corruption obstructing them from living freely. I would later spend a decade traveling the country advocating anarchism. Toward the end of my tour, I encountered Margaret Sanger, who I assisted in inspiring women about contraception. We were both arrested for violating the Comstock laws. But on another topic, I see neither physical, psychological, nor mental reasons why women should not have the equal right to vote with man. But that cannot possibly blind me to the absurd notion that women will accomplish that wherein man has failed. To assume that women will be able to make the state more just charges her with supernatural powers, which is but false. In opposing of the draft issued in 1917, I suppose I became in violation of the Alien and Sedition Acts, which would send me to prison for 2 years. This act is entirely unethical. Do we not live in a country that entitles us to freedom of speech? The government need not be no more. The fundamental premise of a government, of our government, is flawed. What the Constitution states protects nothing, and by its existence only allows the expansion of social, political, and economic divisions. But because the government feared me, I was sentenced to a lifelong exile from America, sending me to Russia to assist in the Russian Revolution. However, if I had my life to live over again, I should wish to alter minor details. But in any of my more important actions and attitudes, I would repeat life as I have lived it, therefore regretting nothing. I should work for anarchism with the same devotion and confidence in its ultimate triumph. My greatest achievement was my dedication to anarchism. I know one day it will prosper and everyone will realize the true beauty of an absent state, and it will be then that all beings are free and cooperative. I am an anarchist, wherefore I will not rule, and also ruled I will not be.